Hey everybody, welcome at the very last episode of New Arrivals for this year. And this week we're going to do it totally different. So usually we pick the 5 best guitars that we got in that week, but we got in so many more this year, so we want to highlight some of them. So let's go on a quick tour, alright? Alright, the first one that I want to highlight is this beautiful Harmony Jupiter. So these Jupiters are made in the USA by the Heritage Factory, and I think they relaunched the brand in 2018 and we were just absolutely blown away when they first arrived. Super high quality guitar, gold foil pickles, gold foil pickups and super simple design. Ultimate rock and roll machine. This one is cranky, but at the same time very dynamic, so the pickups are really nice, and yeah, it's a beauty. They come in some different finishes. Here with the white finish, the champagne finish, and a space black finish. It's yeah, beautiful. Oh, and of course, rosé. Alright, so here's another one that I want to highlight. This one is made in Holland, so this is a Haar traditional S, and for the people that know Haar, they know how well built they are. So these guitars are made with super woods, always at good weight, always high quality pickups and hardware, and everything is made by hand. All these guitars are plecked as well, so the setup from a factory is always good, and they are just ready to go on stage. So that's why I wanted to highlight one of these Haars. So this guitar is made by one of my favorite master builders. So this is a Stefan Stern G6120. I'm a huge Jet Atkins fan, so if I see one of these, it immediately makes me happy. Alright, so let's go to the other one. So we didn't stick to one hollow body, because we had to select one of these. So a few episodes back, we got in his little brother, but at the same time this one arrived. So this is an I-35 LC in aged black finish. And it's tough to see in distance because the aging is done so nicely and so perfect. So the I-35 is the pin on the ES335 from Collings. What I really like about this guitar is it's slightly smaller. So it's not as small as the 339, but it's not as big as the 335. It's right there in the middle. And that's what I really like about this guitar, because you get the airy sound of a very large hollow body guitar, but at the same time you get the comfort of a small guitar. So that's why I picked the I-35. And the Collings craftsmanship is just beyond everything. It's built so nice and so neat. The current waiting list for an electric Collings guitars is 13 months right now, so that's quite long. But we still have a few on order, and a few in stock as well, so go check out the website. So the next one here, we had to pick. This is a 1967 Jimi Hendrix SG, a beautiful aged white finish, only 150 made, the 3 pickups, the gold hardware. Awesome guitar. And what's really cool is this guitar is treated by the Murphy Lab. So Gibson just introduced the Murphy Lab and it's going to be awesome. So check out their website as well, because there are some really interesting developments over at Gibson. Alright. So, as you already saw, 2020 didn't only bring bad stuff and misery, it also brought us some very nice guitars. So also on NAMM this year, PRS introduced the Silver Sky, and this is the new color, Polar Blue. As you can see, we have some more colors, but this Polar Blue color with the rosewood fretboard is just spot on. So welcome in our vintage room. The first guitar that I had to grab is this one. I have a very big love for Lowden guitars, and this is a G7 made in Japan. For a short while in the 1980s, Lowden made a guitar in Japan. But they are built with absolute excellence and really high building quality. What's interesting about these guitars is because they are rather unknown, but they are very well crafted. The price isn't that steep. So if you're looking for a nice vintage Lowden guitar with that Lowden character and the ultimate piano sound of a European guitar, then these are really interesting. So beside the electric guitars and the acoustic guitars, we also hold a lot of classicals. In fact, we have a room full of them. We have some of the old Spanish names, we have very progressive guitar makers, we have crossovers. And one of these crossovers I want to show you today. So this is a good old crossover nylon. Beautiful guitar, built in a Spanish way, slightly slimmer, so it feels really comfortable too. I mean, look at the back. Beautiful flame maple back and sides, a maple neck, spruce top. And what you have with a crossover is that the neck is slightly small. They're often brace different as well, so you get that bit more fusion tone, more jazz tone, instead of that really Spanish tone. And it's really interesting because you can discover new styles with that, and that's also why it's called a crossover. You can go from one style to another with one guitar. So that's why we had to highlight this one. Mandolins, gypsy guitars, banjos! Alright, so right now we're in a European room. So here are all the guitars that are made in Europe. And I want to highlight this one. So this is a BSG GA27F Fender fret. And I see you looking at these strings, and there's something wrong there. So what does a Fender fret? A Fender fret is an interesting guitar because it adds some more scale on the bass, and it does the opposite on the treble side. So what you get is a really interesting sound with a really tight, really strong bass. And also if you want to drop tune this, you get a really long sustain and warm, deep sound. So this guitar is an interesting one because this looks like a traditional Martin OM28. But there is a difference between a regular OM28 and the OM28 Modern Deluxe that I'm holding here. So the Modern Deluxe is a classic guitar but with a lot of new features. So some of them are the liquid metal bridge pins. The tops are torrefied, so they put them in an oven, get into a certain kind of dryness, so it sounds more like a vintage guitar. Of course, the Indian rosewood back and sides, just like the Martin OM28 should have. There's a titanium truss rod, so if you feel the guitar, it's incredibly light. There's a gold tuners, special inlay on the headstock. Oh yes, and last but not least, the bridge plate of the guitar is made of carbon, so it lasts really long, and it gives it kind of a different touch to the sound as well. So, curious how it sounds? So now we go into the old mayor's office. So before we were here, this used to be a town hall for a very long time. And this room had double doors, and they sat in mayor for years and years, a Bourgeois. So now it's a room for our left-handed guitar players. as well as all the Gibsons. And Gibson presented a very good lineup this year. Alright, so one of the Gibsons that I want to highlight is this 1928 L1. So this guitar we designed with Gibson a year ago, and we only had 5 made. And this is a great crossover between the 1928 L1 with the H-Adirondack spruce top, mahogany back and sides, but it also has some modern features. The neck is slightly different than the original ones, which it makes it very usable for the modern guitarist as well. This is just an absolute blues guitar. So it has that punch, that Adirondack feel to it, and it's just a classic. So this is the very last one of the 5 that we had made, so they are getting rare. Last room. So what I'm holding here is a Bourgeois OMS 42 style with Madagascar rosewood back and sides and German spruce top. And in my opinion, that's a match made in heaven. The German spruce top gives this really fresh, warm tone, and then the Madagascar rosewood really adds this layer of warmth and deepness around it. So it's an absolutely stunning combination. Beside that, the 12th fret brings the bridge a bit further behind, which gives the dynamics a complete different feel as well. What do we think of 12 frets? Alright, so last but not least, we're going to grab something from the safe. So new arrivals wouldn't be new arrivals if we didn't put in a brand new old Strat. So this one came to our doorstep last week. So this is a 1964 Fender Stratocaster. Beautiful three-tone sunburst finish, the red is still there. It's a remarkable shape. Of course it had some wear and tear, but the red is still there. Yeah, and it looks amazing. It's a beauty. So then the last one for today is this beautiful Ryan 10 string with tiger myrtle back and sides and bear cross spruce top. So this is really cool because this is a really innovative guitar. Of course it has 10 strings, but what they did is, for instance, they swapped the G string. So if you play it fingerstyle, your thumbs play the upper 3 strings and then your fingers play the down strings. And because the octave string is here, you get a complete different spectrum of sounds. Beside these features, this guitar, of course, is a lot else. It's a Ryan, so it has the honeycomb bridge, laser cut braces, so it gets that really airy, warm, open tone. It's like listening to a hi-fi speaker for the first time. With the flutes here and the sound hole here, you get this extra dimension of sound. It's yeah, it's really well made. And another interesting thing about this one, it has 10 strings, but it plays like a 6 string. Also because this string is swapped and because the upper 2 strings are not octaved. So it's really interesting. Yeah, it plays really comfortable as well. So that was it, new arrivals, the very last one of the year. It ended a bit strange in an empty shop filled with guitars, but we don't stop. So we ship all our guitars above €50, free in Europe, and also all of our German customers and Benelux customers can count on free return shipping as well, as long as the lockdown lasts. Thank you very much for supporting this year. We really enjoyed making these videos, and we see you next year again. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next year. Bye bye. Hiya.